10 best things to look out for as a landlord when you're looking for a tenant in South Africa. Hey, it's Rob GillT. It's all about Cape Town, it's all about property, it's all about fun. So I promised you this video, and in this video we are going to talk about how to look for your tenant and the things to look out for when you're trying to get your tenant. So let's check it out, guys. So yep, I did it. I made the video. 10 best things to look out for a landlord. There might be 11 actually. There'll be a bonus at the end, extra one. But yeah, I was looking at this, and remember we spoke about it, where you have to shift, because the standard way of looking for a tenant is basically to go to the credit check and go and see there and have a look if they've got pay slips and bank statements and all that type of thing. That's kind of getting antiquated now. You've really got to think about it when you're looking for your tenants, and you've got to widen your thought process as to how do you identify a good tenant from a bad tenant. And the reason I'm saying this is because, as we've spoken before, so many rental properties are now standing empty. And as I said to you before, the big thing that's causing that, okay, is body corporates. Body corporates are a big problem. 80% of them are saying no pets, and 80% of people have got pets, and there's other rules and regulations, and people are getting a bit peeved by it. So rental properties are standing empty in those places. Good tenants that would have moved in can't move in because of rules. And another pet problem is the way we vet our clients. We vet our clients, and then we send them on their way, and they could have been really good clients because we never really looked closely. So yeah, also I went to the beach again. This is going to be a really long video, guys. I went to the beach again. I couldn't resist. And then when I got back from the beach, I decided let's make this video for you, because I did say I would do this for you. So let's get to it. It's going to be a long video, guys. Sorry about that. This one is going to take a bit of a process because we've got to go through quite a lot of stuff. But let's get to it and let's talk about it. So the first and most obvious thing to look for, all right, and this is really important, is your tenants being evicted before. Okay. If they've been evicted previously, and depending on how long ago, be careful of that as well. But if they've been evicted previously, they'll probably get evicted again, okay, quite easily. So keep that in consideration. But what you've also got to consider with these sort of scenarios is, like I've said before, is this a case of circumstances that occurred in the past and it was a long time ago and you can overlook it? Or is it something like they're a recurring issue with these people? Or can you see through it? You know, does it look like something they're going to do again? Also, how recent was it? Because obviously if it was recent, you've got a problem. If it was 10 years ago, you can maybe look at it as it was the circumstances at that time, and circumstances have changed. All right, so what's number 2? Guys, another big thing here is, if your client shows up to view the property and they're drunk or high, don't go there, okay? This is a problem, all right? I mean, you're looking at a whole bunch of other things that come with people being drunk or being high. You can just think of them for yourself. This is probably going to be a problem tenant 9 times out of 10. So watch out for that and take care. What is the next one? So guys, if you know that your client has a history of domestic violence, okay, in any way, all right, if they have a history of being noisy, whatever the case, being angry, or they seem to be aggro, this is going to be a problem for you. And it's not because you don't want people that are domestic violence people in your flat. It's because they're going to make holes in your doors and rip your doors off and destroy your apartment or house or whatever it is you're letting out. So people with a history of domestic violence are kind of bad for your property as well, because their anger gets taken out on your property, right? So it's going to be a problem for you. So watch out for that one as well, okay? Another thing you can watch out for: tenants that are too picky about everything. Because if they're going to be picky about everything now, imagine when they move in what they're going to be like, okay? You know, they want this done, they want that done, pick this and pick that and pick that. They're going to give you a hard time while they're living in the apartment or house or whatever. Okay, probably want you to mow the lawn if you've got a house or something ridiculous. Watch out for tenants that are just over picky. They're going to give you a problem, right? And they probably won't pay your rent as well, just on top of it, because you didn't do something. They'll use that as an excuse, okay, which is not a good excuse, all right? They'll say, you didn't fix the door, so I'm not paying for rent. Watch out for those people. That's a problem. And what you find is tenants that will express interest in like planting a garden, redoing your yard, painting the house, doing improvements, or anything to that effect. There's a problematic issue here. It just is, okay? Don't go there. Leave that one behind. Move on, okay? It's underlying. It always causes problems. Another one is the tenant will ask you for a discount in exchange for doing some repairs to your property. No, doesn't work like that. If they're starting to negotiate like that, there might be affordability problems, or they can't afford the deposit, or there's other issues. And if they start negotiating on that now, can you imagine how the negotiations are going to go down the line? They're going to get on and on and on and on. Things are going to, if you're negotiable now, you're always going to be negotiable, okay? So don't be negotiable. Watch out for that. Any tenant that starts negotiating in lieu of rent, you've got an issue there already. So remember, any client that's got a criminal record, especially a felony, something serious or whatever the case, it's hard for them to get a job. It's hard for them to keep a job, all right? And if they are spending a life of crime and they've got loads of money, that life of crime could end tomorrow and they could end up in jail. So stay away from clients with serious criminal records. If it's for drinking and driving, okay, it brings us back to the point of domestic violence, drunk clients and that sort of thing. You have to look at those scenarios as well. But if it's not a really big effect, if it's just something that happened, a circumstance that happened to the client, you can overlook that kind of criminal record, or they got arrested on the beach for surfing or something silly. But if they got a serious crime or criminal record, walk away, find another client. So that kind of leads on to my next one, which is any client that's got a tattoo on their face. Now, no disrespect to people with tattoos, please don't get me wrong. But it's just that clients with tattoos on their faces, especially a teardrop, there's usually something to do with something else, okay? So just don't do it. They're always a problem that comes along somewhere down the line with clients that got tattoos on their faces. Don't ask me why. So it's better to move on. Let them go buy their own house if they've got enough money. Now, we spoke about pets earlier, right? But I say to you this, pets are fine, but people with an abundance of dogs or an abundance of cats, you don't want them in your property. Because your property is going to look like shit when it's done, okay? It's going to look terrible when they're finished with you. People with an abundance of pets love their pets. They don't give a damn about their furniture, and they don't give a damn about your house, okay? Your house is going to look like shit when it's done, okay? 9 times out of 10. So be careful of that. That's a big problem. So abundance of animals is not a good sign, right? 2, 3, that's all good. That's fine. 6, 7, 8, you've got a problem. You're starting a kennel at your house. It's going to look like hell. So watch out for that one too, guys. Take care. And this one's similar to one that I've said to you earlier. I think I said this already, but a tenant that's always trying to negotiate with you. If you're negotiating now, they're going to be negotiating with you forever. Oh, can I pay the rent next month? Oh, can I pay it in 2 months' time? Oh, I can't afford it this month. Perhaps I can pay it in 4 months' time. So on and so on and so on. Can I pay it a little bit less because I can't afford that rent anymore? Once you start negotiating, it never stops, all right? So stay away from that. Don't negotiate. Okay, and then the big bonus one here, and this is, I think, number 11 already, the big boy guy. Anyone who asks you to drive them to the viewing, and I use this in sales as well. Why are you asking me to drive you to the viewing? Don't you have a car? Because quite seriously, in my opinion, in South Africa, if you don't have a car, you cannot afford to pay the rent. You cannot afford to purchase the property. Okay, so keep that in mind, guys. Anyone who asks you to drive them to the viewing, don't do it. And in these days, in these ages, it's not a good idea to drive people to the viewing anyway. Safety reasons, viruses, and all that kind of thing are a big, big, big problem, as you know. So yeah, that's it. I thought I'd give you that sort of advice. I don't know how good it is. I sat and I thought about it because, as I've told you before, I'm not a rental agent. Any rentals or investments that I would do would be on a short term or an Airbnb. So these long term rentals are not a thing that I deal with. But because we spoke about it the other day and I was having a pet thing about it, I thought I'd just give you guys some new ideas, to look at. It's just a way to shift your mind. Start thinking when you're taking a client out, or when you've got a client looking at your property, ask questions. Ask them about their family, their life, their pets, etc. If you read between the lines, you'll pick up who you're getting and what kind of tenant you're getting. Now, bear in mind, guys, that there's been a process in the past where the landlord has been in charge and he's been able to call the shots. It's a bit more difficult now because properties are standing empty and the tenants can say, I want to rent it. If you don't want me, screw you. So you got to watch out for the balance here. You don't want to lose the balance. But by the same token, don't give your property to somebody who's going to take you to the cleaners or rip it apart or destroy it at the end of the day, because that's just not cool, guys. It's really, really, really annoying. So I hope this video hasn't been too long for you. I have gone through a process. And those are the things that you could possibly look out for. Like I said, not gospel, but it's ideas. It's ideas that you could probably check, and we can take it from there. So guys, thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Always important, especially on this channel. And like the Facebook page and follow me on Instagram. And while you're here, why don't you go and have a look at the part shop as well? It's down there. By the way, guys, I put in the description, I put the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. I put the video there. You can go and check it out. It's free. I've got no affiliation to it whatsoever. I mean, you can go and buy the shop in the bookstores as well, I believe. Really cool. Check it out. It'll help you if you're in real estate, along the way. That's a great thing to check out. So thanks for watching, guys. Till next time, it's Rob GillT. Cheers.